All right. Thank you, Felipe, for joining us today. Felipe Hernandez is the head of Compass Luxury, working with agents all over the nation. Many of you have listened to him, have seen him. I think he's been zooming in on many office meetings of late. Nothing like talking about that three-tiered marketing plan that Robert is just like obsessed with right now. He started his career in high fashion, working with Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, before starting his career in real estate with the Sunshine Group in New York City. Welcome, Felipe. We are so excited to have you here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. And what a great way to start the morning. I love this group already.
We are a
Great
little
energy.
rambunctious this morning.
I love it.
The
Love
best
it.
part of the calls are usually the coffee talk, and that's our favorite part of 6 Amers is connecting and seeing everyone and seeing how they're doing. And when 6 Amers starts, it's fun, but it's not the connections across the country. And that is what we love so much about connecting with agents. And so when you see them, some of the people the first time you see at the retreats and you feel you know them and love them, and it's incredible. So
I love that.
but welcome. So what quick question, Felipe. So how did you get in from into Compass, and your life before I hear was in fashion and things like that? What brought you from that into Compass?
So, great question. And a lot of my friends have always asked me, they're like, why? They were a little confused. Why did you go from fashion to real estate? And even for me, it took a little while. But originally, when Louise Sunshine hired me, I told her I was meeting with her, and I told her I was like, I don't know anything about real estate. And she's like, you don't understand. I don't need you to know about real estate. I need you to know about marketing luxury products to wealthy people. That's what I need to do. I want you to treat real estate as you would treat any other luxury accessory. And that made so much sense to me. That made so much sense that the way Rolex communicates to their audience, or Rolls-Royce, or Chanel, they're selling a luxury good. They're creating a story around it. They're designing beautiful ads around it. Why isn't real estate should be doing the same thing? We sell the ultimate accessory. This is much more expensive than a Rolls Royce or a Rolex, and we should treat it the same way. So, John, that's where it clicked for me. And as soon as I even explained that to my friends, they all go, "Oh yeah." And I know a lot of people from fashion that have transitioned to real estate because real estate really started elevating its game, real estate marketing, right? To really be more of to establish itself as more of as a luxury good and establish more luxury brand practices. I love it.
And obviously we all love it as well. And the more you bring luxury into it, the I don't know, just elevates the entire experience.
Well, even when I first started developing the luxury division, and Mark, I think you and I were probably like doing this
I
way
I
back
was about to jump in too. It
in
was
the
about the same time. Before you go, Felipe, I've been here 6 years, just celebrated my 6 year anniversary, and I've watched Felipe take Compass from what was Compass previously to this new height of luxury experience, luxury marketing, luxury materials, luxury support to all of the agents nationwide. And it is just unbelievable what you've done, Felipe. So Miss Sunshine was right. You can do it, and you have.
Thank you, thank you. But I remember in the early years that Mark is calling out, when we were doing the luxury listing presentation, I went to my team and I said, "Listen, don't design it as a brokerage." Like I told them, I was like, "Imagine if Tom Ford was selling real estate, what would that listing presentation look like?" So throw away what you know about Coldwell Banker or Sotheby's, and imagine Louis Vuitton had to do a real estate luxury listing presentation, what would that look like? And that's how we kind of started the design aesthetic and developing that brand. So even now, as much as we can, whenever we develop something, we put it through that lens, right? I have a lot of conversations even with agents about the quality of their content. And even when we pick photography for our social media account or even the cover of the magazine, my team has heard me say this so many times. I was like, if Architectural Digest wouldn't put this in their magazine, we're not using the photograph. And I'm just very clear with agents where they're like, oh, why didn't you submit my listing? I was like, because I've told you, I was like, look at this other photography, elevate the product. If you really want click-throughs, if you really want that affluent buyer to click through and to like go to the link, you have to bring them in. That's what all these fashion companies, luxury brands do. So I think going back to what Mark was saying, I think we're constantly trying to elevate our game so that not only do Compass agents, we start representing what luxury real estate looks like, but we start attracting that crowd. Even when we design some of our ads, I always try to say, hey, listen, imagine if this is in a magazine and someone's flipping through and they see a Louis Vuitton ad and a Rolex ad. If they get to your ad, it shouldn't stand out as a shock. It should flow as any of these other luxury ads, right? So I always kind of like start comparing ourselves to the other luxury brands, not necessarily other brokerages, to kind of set the tone.
We first met in Southern California last year at the
Yeah.
Luxury Summit, and you presented there sharing, what luxury really was. And it really is a mindset as far as, and as you were talking just now, just that different perspective, visualizing the photography, the certain elements that you want to use to really promote properties. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And then what agents need to keep in mind as they're promoting and marketing their properties, and what those elements really look like, and then who does luxury work with? Like, how can they get more help from our luxury department?
Yeah. Listen, I'll start with the definition of luxury because I think there's the very simple, I think, lazy interpretation, which is price point, right? And I don't think it should be that way, right? I think customer service is huge and just how I like to say the story you tell about a property, right? And I'll do this, Tanya, all the time with agents. I'll sit down and they'll be like, hey, I have this listing. Can we talk about marketing? And I'll say, okay, tell me about the house. And they go straight into it's 15 million, 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. And I was like, stop. I was like, that gives me zero. Gives
I know
me
many of us here on the call tout, luxury is an experience, not a price point.
It's an experience, and even a lower price point. Every home has a jewel, right? Every home has something that when you walk in, that's what makes it desirable. So I always push and that's the luxury, right? For the buyer, right? Someone coming into the house saying, "Oh my God, I've always wanted that view," or "Oh, I've always wanted that walk-in closet," or "I've always wanted, my own private office." That could
You
be a
said it
luxury for
there. A
them.
closet is luxury for many of the women in the house right now, right?
Exactly. So I urge everyone, sure, there's things we do for higher price point properties as far as targeting, but how you communicate a property to your public, to your sphere, I would treat everything, with that luxury care and attention, right? A 1 bedroom condo, that'll be a luxury for a first time buyer, right? So I always tell agents, I was like, imagine it was a $10 million home. Photograph it with care. You treat it, write the messaging that calls out what the jewel is. Don't discard it because of the price point, because to someone it'll be important. And again, I always do the comparisons to fashion. Louis Vuitton is probably the most profitable fashion company out there. I think it is the number one most profitable company. Most of the money they make is in small leather goods. They're not making money from the big high price. So they have the image of luxury. But when you go in there just to buy a $200 wallet, you get the same treatment. You get the same beautiful shopping bag with the tissue paper in it. You get to use the same beautiful stores, not like they send you to a lesser store, right? So I think that's smart business, right? You set up yourself, with a luxury image, luxury content. You treat everything beautifully. They use the same beautiful leather for the $150 card case than they do for the $10,000 bag. It's the same craftsmanship, right? So,
Absolutely.
so I always tell people to do the same thing, and I know a lot of agents that do that very well. I'm sure a lot of you know Juju, who in NorCal.
Yeah, Juju's
She
in my
told
office. Yeah.
Yeah. Juju and I have had so many conversations about this. And she's like, Felipe, I never used to sell luxury properties, but I serviced as a luxury client, everyone as a luxury client, and I treated every property with the dignity and respect of a luxury property. And you know what happened? I started getting luxury listings because people started knowing me. So I love that example, right? That sometimes you have to do it first, and then the listings come after. If you set yourself up as that bearer of luxury, of good quality, of yeah, setting the standard.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kind of going on to that, back in the day when agents were they throw their crappy flyers, Xerox flyers outside. And I always would say, no, you need to put the nicest stuff outside because who picks up the stuff on the outside? The neighbors. The
Yeah.
neighbors. They might not come to inside, but they're going to pick up that stuff. And it starts from even back then. And do not go cheap because it's not looking for the buyer always. You're looking for the future business in there. So
And again,
exactly.
I think Tanya said it, it's the experience,
Yeah.
right? It's the experience, right? You want that potential buyer to walk in and kind of walk away thinking, okay, this is nice. This is a good experience. Um, Not that it's closely connected to this, but I even like editing the flyer, right? Like, what are you showing in the flyer? Like, I always tell people one of the first things I do when I work with an agent is they send me the link and I go to the link, the MLS link or even compass.com link, and I start going through the photographs. And I'll be very honest with them. And they're like, what do you think? And I was like, you lost me by photograph number 7. I was like, by the time I got to the pantry photograph or that bathtub shot, didn't need to see it. And I think sometimes putting yourself in the shoes of who's going to walk in and take this away, and is it going to be memorable, right? Would I pick up this flyer and toss it on my way to the car, or would I actually keep it to show to my partner, my spouse, and say, oh my God, look how beautiful this is, right? I'd rather the second one. I'd rather someone keep it and show it to their spouse than, no, this isn't important. They didn't seem to spend too much time and attention on it. They didn't spend a lot of care. So why should I? Right? And the same thing with the photography. When you upload the listing, I say sometimes 10, 15 photos. The listing link, I don't think we're not Gap. We're not selling t-shirts that you can just buy it on Instagram, right? We want people to come, to call, make an appointment. So use the photographs that are going to urge someone to call and make an appointment, not the photographs to do a tour of every nook and cranny of the house, right? Because one, attention span. Two, you might just show them. And I've had this experience personally. I've told agents, I was like, I loved the house up until photo 12. And then I stopped liking it so much. You started showing me things that I got a little bored with. And then I saw a few rooms that I was like, now I started criticizing the carpet or that view. And now before I knew it, I'm criticizing. You showed me too much and I'm criticizing and I'm not excited anymore. So
Nobody needs to see
Amen.
the free toilets.
yeah, no one needs to see. You
Yeah.
Or
won't see any toilets
laundry
or
room.
What's up
bathtubs
with
on the luxury
agents leaving the
division
toilet
account.
seat up during the open house? Close that damn fucking thing.
Yeah.
Seriously. John's dropping the F-bombs this
No,
early. My
no.
goodness.
Pet peeve of mine. Jeez.
Uh,
It's great. Well, so what's your travel look like? You traveling anywhere? I know you're in Southern California, right? That's
I'm in Florida right now.
okay.
I'm in South Florida. I'm in Miami. I didn't make it to the retreat. I had my niece was getting married back in Spain. My
We
family is
missed
in
you.
Spain. So yeah, so I went there. So I had to miss all of you in Denver, but
But I
family
mean, I guess you
first.
have to be in Spain. Whatever.
Eating all the food.
Yeah, you
So
poor
good.
thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's summer in Miami, so I'll probably be here for the next few months.
Nice.
Not
That's
traveling
great that
around.
you can
Probably
work wherever. You can work wherever in the world and do your job.
Do you have a place there? You go often, right?
yes, yes, in South Beach.
Nice. Oh, very
Yeah,
nice.
it's very
That's
nice, and luxury's booming down here, so I'm busy.
oh, I'll
It's
bet. Yes.
the market here is insane.
That's
So
great.
where did you grow up?
I grew up in Spain, so I'm born and raised in Spain, in Madrid, and then kind of grew up between Madrid and London. So I didn't come to the US until college. So until I was like 18, which has been a while now.
So were you the first one in the family to leave and go work?
No, no, no. My parents are actually American citizens. My father used to work for Colgate Palmolive in the 60s and moved to Europe, and then my parents just stayed there. So we were all born and raised there. So we always kept a home in Florida, actually. So we would come summers, Christmas. All my siblings went to school here. So yeah, no, we were back and forth always. I was never officially living here until I was in my 20s, and then never left.
Gotta love that. So you said all your siblings. How many
There's five
siblings?
of us.
Five.
Wow.
Five of us, yes.
Catholic,
And three
Mormon?
boys, two girls, and
I think
all
John
three
just
boys
asked
are
you if you
all in
were
marketing.
Mormon.
Huh?
I asked if you were Catholic or Mormon with all those siblings.
Catholic.
I'm
Roman
sorry, I
Catholic.
interrupted. So there's five total. Where is everyone?
So, so two in Spain, two in the States, and one in Central America. So we're a bit all over the place. It's very hard. That's why we take weddings very seriously because that's the only time we all get to
I
see
was
each
gonna
other.
say, did everyone make it?
Yeah, yeah, we were all there. And it's funny, because the three boys, my father had started his career in marketing, and then me and my two brothers, all three of us started our careers and we all work in marketing as well. So we're like, we've always been, I think we spoke about this, Tanya, when we chatted a few weeks ago. We were laughing because I was I was telling them I was born to be in marketing because I'm the biggest sucker for for ads. And Tanya and I were laughing because I actually like it when the algorithm works. I've become such a lazy shopper. So if I'm looking for a new bathing suit or something, I'll just grab my phone and I'll just do a quick search. I'll just say bathing suit. And then I just give it a few hours. Then I go on Instagram and it's like your own personal shopper.
Really is. Really is.
It
We
shows me all
mentioned
these brands
earlier.
that I never would have found. Um, but then I always do tell my sisters that sometimes, they'll send me a link to like, oh, I was gonna buy this for my niece or something, and it's a kid's toy or something. And I was like, ah, damn, you sent me the
You
link. Now
ruined it. You
I
ruined your
ruined the
algorithm.
algorithm. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
kids' toys now.
You can
So
only speak luxury anywhere near your phone
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Alexa or whatever you have in your home,
They're
right?
all listening. They're all listening everywhere.
Yeah.
But one thing, I'll turn this to work. I have so many conversations about social ads and digital ads, and I hear a lot of like agents come to me and they're like, "Well, I did this campaign. The digital ads don't work, or the social ads don't work." And I was like, and I always have a very serious conversation. I was like, "No, hold on. Digital ads and social ads do work because we all fall for it. If we didn't get clicks or we didn't get likes, it's working because it's telling you that we did something wrong. Because I know when I get ads on my phone, why I'm not clicking on them. Either it's not, you all remember Mark McLaughlin. Mark McLaughlin and I used to laugh all the time. He's like, if you don't like whiskey, stop sending me whiskey ads. I'm not going to click on them. I don't want a whiskey bottle. I'm not going to buy it. Stop sending it to me. So either, you're targeting the wrong product to the wrong group. Maybe the photography is not what you should be showing. So I always think, don't discard the results. Take them, be realistic and say, wow, this ad didn't work. Why? What's in this ad that actually like didn't cause anyone, didn't attract anyone? And we've had a bunch of examples. We had one house, we were trying to sell it. It was getting no showings. It was very, very slow. We didn't know what to do, and we were kept thinking, Tanya, we kept kind of overcomplicating the problem. We're like, oh, maybe the algorithm or this or the strategy, the targeting. And someone on my team said, you know what, this house is like that color, the exterior color. It's like, when in the 80s or 90s, everything was like that burgundy color.
Oh yeah.
And she just said, it's like, what if we just try to retouch it? Let's just retouch it, hire a retoucher. And we retouched it to white. It literally took hours to get like the leads. I think it closed 2 weeks later.
Crazy.
We just had to stop and just be very realistic and be like, well, maybe that photograph because that color isn't very nice.
Mhm.
And I think it was that simple. People were just not clicking on it because they just didn't like it's not something they wanted to look at.
And attract them.
So give them something to look at. So that's how I think I use my own personal experience with social and digital ads to kind of remind me of like, hey, what are we doing? Are we making those mistakes? Just saying, oh, the digital didn't work. No, it's usually human error that didn't work.
Type me in the chat if you've bought anything off of Instagram or Facebook in the last year.
Nobody wants to admit that, Tanya.
I have.
I didn't say it was from, 2 a.m, but
I didn't know Mavis was on this call. Hello, Mavis. I adore you.
So there's a couple questions in the chat. Let
Yeah.
me read them. I wish there was a dedicated luxury Compass rep to help the listing agent with specific marketing and some thing. How do you get access to the luxury? I know we put your stuff in the chat, Philip. What can they do? And we go to that to talk about that.
Okay, so I'm very excited that this question came up. So, because I have good news. So since we launched, I'm always getting feedback from agents and your sales managers, and there's a few things that have been repeating, right? The same feedback of like that question, right? Like, hey, how exactly do I get the support, right? And also there's been secondary feedback of like, hey, I did speak to luxury. I had a great meeting. They told me we were going to do all these things. And then I never heard back. Like, what happened to my listing? Did it go on the luxury platform? Did it not? So we've been working on that, and I just launched this. I actually just presented to at the National Sales Manager meeting yesterday. I'm going to be doing a tour of sales meetings. Your marketing teams were all trained on this last week. So we're launching a new program called Amplify, which is going to solve this. So part of what the problem we had is that we were doing these like the regional team didn't have access to the resources, to the exposure resources, right? We made it too complicated. We made it a little too elitist, right? So what Amplify does now, it opens those doors. So you actually don't even need to ask permission. The regional team doesn't need to ask permission. We created a landing page on our website. So I'll put it in the link here, but it's luxuryatcompass.com/submit. What this does, you send us your listing, and automatically this will send you an email back telling you exactly what you will be getting, the exposure you will be getting. So we are going to be guaranteeing 5 things now. So obviously you will be included in our luxury collections across the platform. You'll be included on the luxury website, which receives over 30,000 affluent customers every month. You'll be included in our global newsletter, on our YouTube channel, and it will also be distributed to all our Barnes International agents across more than 22 countries. This will all be guaranteed. You don't have to like go through the MA. We were seeing so much back and forth and so much of when is it happening? What am I getting? So yeah, so if you don't want to do the form, send us the request via email. We will do the form for you, so don't worry about it. And then the best thing is that you will get that automated email once it's confirmed. And what I love is I said, hey, can we add something in the email that's a button that you can share something with your clients? So now when you get the confirmation email, there's a share this button, and that will create another beautiful email that you can send to your client saying, hey, just wanted to let you know, got your listing on the Compass Luxury Division platform. While we were doing this, I had another thought based on another piece of feedback, right? And it's this threshold, luxury threshold concept of like, hey, what gets in and what gets out. So I said, let's start developing ideas that don't require a threshold, right?
I love that.
What Amplify will do also is it has a bunch. So when you submit, if it doesn't meet the threshold, we'll be able to send you a list of saying, hey, listen, this doesn't meet the threshold. Here's some ideas of what we can do. So for example, we developed these 2 great digital packages to promote luxury listings that I'm removing the threshold on. Why put a threshold? Like, why be so picky, right? So there's a few things like that. Some advertising opportunities. We have these, we're doing these great deals with Financial Times and Wall Street Journal and a few other publications. So we're starting to grow that list also, Tanya, so that it doesn't become this like the have and have nots, right? So let's make
Yeah,
sure
because
we
it
have
does feel a little elitist right now,
yeah.
I would say, to many. And so we had somebody in the chat just type that they actually submitted something last month, but it sounds like this new program just rolled out maybe a week ago with all of our
Yeah.
AMs and marketing teams. So
Yes.
submit again is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, exactly. Here, I'm going to put this in the link right now.
And Amplify is the name of the new program. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
luxuryatcompass.com/submit.
And it doesn't have to be actually on the MLS. It can be a private exclusive, right?
No, great question. Because I'm a public platform, so everything I do will be public. So
Ah,
once you send it to me, I also can't pick it up if it's the tech won't let me, the platform
Okay.
won't let me pick it up if it's private exclusive. But anything coming soon or active,
So you're
I
kind of like Zillow. You won't go.
oh, no, not the Z word.
Sorry, that was a softball throw I had to throw down.
Ay, ay, ay. Where's
exactly.
Robert?
But I'm very excited about Amplify because I think, it's taken us a while to create this, and I think we'd heard enough feedback from all of you about, can you please confirm what exactly we get? And can you let me know when it's happened so I can actually tell my clients because we
That's
we want to do
awesome.
a good job.
That's very exciting. All right, this
Deborah, I
one's for
see
you,
that.
Katie. Type me in the chat if you're excited about Amplify.
That's right. Deb, I see that you wanted to raise your hand. You want to unmute? Deb is actually in Italy right now. She's in Italy.
Oh, wow.
Ciao Felipe, come stai?
Wow.
So I wanted to ask, you mentioned something that I thought was a very good point about the photos and, be judicious about which photos we use. We don't have to do everything. And my clients do, though, they are pretty particular. I'd say I hear the feedback a lot that if they don't see everything, they think there's something wrong, that we're hiding it as listing agents. But the second question I had really had to do, or the question I had really had to do with, now you're opening the doors to different price points. So for us to get a really good sense on, these are incredible photos, and here's something, just use luxuryatcompass.com to go there and look at the photos that you have and really give us a sense of the styling that we're looking for and what really works. Because I think sometimes I'm visual and I do like to see things to really start getting a sense of the vibe that you're going for.
Yeah.
And that would really help me. And I think also maybe be more selective in my own marketing, all price points.
I just dropped in our Instagram handle. That's probably the best representation. My Instagram team is literally, they're worse than me. They're like very strict. They won't put anything. That usually has the best representation of photography. So check that out. But yeah, also go to luxuryatcompass.com. Those who are probably like, yeah, that they'll start showing you. And also, so even going back to Miriam, I think had a question of how do we see the packages? This was all released to your marketing teams. So you can just email your MA or the marketing manager or even the sales manager. I told them yesterday and say, hey, can someone send me the deck for Amplify? What I'm going to do also is I'm going to send it after this meeting to John and Tanya. So I don't know if you have like an email distribution, but they'll
And
be
we
able to
will
send
send
this.
that out to everybody in the follow-up email.
Yeah, send it out. Thank you.
Exactly. And then you'll be able to have that, and that has all the information on different packages. If there's a price attached to it, it has that in there also. And then the submit URL as well.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, that's always fun. We didn't know we were going to get the new product launch information.
Exactly.
Fun.
Deb,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna go back to Deb's issue with the clients, right? About like the photograph selection. I think it's okay for them to know how much you care about the property and to tell them, I want to represent this in the best light. It's not that I don't like these rooms, but we have to be, and just tell them this is how luxury.
Felipe, my buying clients, when they're looking at their collections, they give me the feedback overall. If they don't see the front of the house or they don't see something that they believe it must be ugly, or because the listing agent is hiding it, that is a very common feedback I've had over the years. And I've told them sometimes a house is below the grade of the street, it's not shootable from the front or whatever it might be, but it is a very consistent piece of feedback I do get from buyers.
I'll tell you, okay, I'll tell you my blunt, honest truth.
Mhm,
I think I still rather not show them the photograph and
mhm.
you have that conversation with them
It's
than
communication.
having placed the photograph of the ugly exterior and they didn't even call you. So I still think it's better to keep them wondering why there's no front of the photograph. And you can always make something up. It's like, hey, my clients are very private. They don't want the house recognized from the outside. It's like, they don't want neighbors to know that the house is on the market or tell them something. But I still prefer even that curiosity of like, why aren't there more photographs? I'm gonna call Deb and find out. That for me is a bigger win than let me show them all the photographs and then they're like, oh, I hate the exterior. I'm not even gonna call her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mark, you unmuted. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, no, I was just agreeing. I mean, it's like I think we just need to change the communication and the expectations on how luxury is sold and presented. For some reason, I was thinking if you are a Porsche dealer and you're showing a Porsche, you're showing the beautiful front of house items. You're showing, the front of the car. You're showing the rear of the car, the sleek design. You're showing the dashboard. You're not sharing showing pictures of the undercarriage or the tread on the tires right? You don't do
Yeah.
that.
100%, Mark. 100%. That's why sometimes I'll go on these links and it's like the third photograph is the pantry. I was like, wow, it can't possibly be the third best location of the house. That would be terrible if if the garage is photo number 4, it's too dangerous, I think.
Yeah, there should never be a garage photo unless it's housing 8 cars and
Yeah.
Exactly. Unless that's the jewel of the house, then
right,
yes.
right. There is somebody that is going to appeal to. Absolutely.
Another
Well,
thing
and
I,
Yeah, I think we have to remember it's a marketing piece to intrigue,
Yeah.
to engage, and to pull people into the real experience, right?
Mhm.
It's not a virtual tour.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Someone
exactly.
asked
Completely.
about virtual
Yeah.
staging.
oh,
I love virtual staging. I think there's some companies that do a fantastic job that you can't tell. Um, there's actually a company that was started by some Compass agents. I don't know if you all know Lana and Franklin Parg out of
Mhm.
Nashville,
yeah,
a
they're
company
great.
called The Rendering
Yeah.
House. They are spectacular, fantastic. I can't tell their renderings.
Well, they're using an AI. They
Yeah,
actually did
Yeah.
presentations at retreat,
yeah,
and
Mhm.
yeah, the products
exactly. Yes, they were there. Yeah,
are amazing.
yeah.
Yes.
Because again, sometimes listen, some people do not have imagination. You have to show them, the potential of the home. So I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of it. And just show
Yeah,
it.
they do a
AI
lot of work
can,
with builders and new construction. So if that's in any of your wheelhouse, reach out to Lana and Franklin Parr. They definitely have a great product that is helping gain business from builders. And there's a lot of smaller builders out there that need a little help. So little
Yeah.
plug to Lana and Franklin.
like, yeah.
I just got an email from him at that very second we said his name.
Isn't that funny? Yep.
It's the universe. It's the universe, Katie.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, Felipe, before we're going to wrap up pretty soon. I don't want to take advantage of your time, but you do a lot of great storytelling. Just in your presentation today, just chatting with us, you're a very good storyteller. What tips would you have to share about storytelling and marketing for agents when they're meeting with clients? What do you got?
So I'll give you an example just because actually I was reading the comments and Katie Dooley, you had this comment about because I agree, the video with the cars. I
Yes.
think a lot of people sometimes do things that don't have a meaning, right? Katie, I would be okay with the car if you're a car fanatic and yourself, and a lot of your clients love cars, and you have sometimes you post articles about a new model, then put cars in your video. I think show show people who you are, but I think make it business related, right? So I think it's like make sure you're talking about things that your client wants to hear about. So if you work with a lot of people that are in finance or in banking, right? They probably want to hear about how the market is doing, talk to them about market reports, tell them about how the market is doing, inflation, all that stuff, right? If you work in a very specific community, right? That's very like, historic or something, and they're very into the community. Are you talking about the neighborhood? Are you representing yourself as a neighborhood expert, as a member of that community? So I do think storytelling is so important. I just think you have to turn on your business mind and be like, wait, am I just talking about myself with no objective, or am I picking things about myself that are going to make me attractive or sound smarter or more interesting to the group that I'm actually going after, right? I know a lot of agents that have done this very, very extremely, right? A lot of agents have just honed in on the golf community, and that's where they get all their referrals from. That's where they just hone in. And all their content is about them at the club and playing golf. So some people go in super, super targeted, or you can go a little more 30,000 feet view. But I do think telling them about yourself and building that connection over something that you think is interesting to them, right? And it can be whatever you want. I have a lot of agents who, I work with an agent in Southern California, and she loves meditation and she loves to surf. And I was like, talk about that. Talk about that. Let them know who you are. Will it attract everyone? No, I don't think so. But there'll be a few people that they'll probably link and say, oh my God, so do I. Or actually, yeah, I go surfing in the same place. Or have you tried this meditation place? I think you all work so well. You're experts at building relationships. And what better way to build a relationship than to offer some, insight or some, point of view that people can grab onto and say, hold on, yeah, I hear that, or I relate to that, or I want to hear more. So I
Felipe,
love the storytelling.
can I tell you something I saw recently?
Yeah.
It was on a luxury listing in another state, and the agent did such a great job. She walked the grounds with the owner, who was very elegant. He just spoke so eloquently about the grounds and how what they loved about the property. And it was absolutely amazing to hear from the seller and humanize it, personalize it. It was just outstanding. And the car thing I was thinking of was there was a $13 million property in St. Louis, which was the most expensive property that's ever sold in St. Louis. The first agent showed the Porsche driving into the property, then went to the car garage, the 5-car garage where like cars were literally on the wall, hanging lifts, whatever. And you thought you were looking at a car commercial. Well, it didn't sell with that agent. And then the second agent did such a better job of a luxury listing and it sold. So
Yeah.
that's the one I was thinking about the car. It was so bad.
Yeah, a garage is not going to sell a house. There's got
By
to
the
be
way, by the way, Katie, in order to amplify her luxury experience, is going to start putting photos of her beautiful granddaughter, who's behind her, in all of her listings.
That's it.
Yeah, right. But they won't let me feature her.
Oh yeah.
Katie, one thing you said is I love, because it's one of my first questions, is when, what I was saying before about like, don't tell me so much about the bed and bath count. I always ask, it's like, why does the seller love it? Why did the seller buy this house? What do they love about this house? That's my first question. That will guide me so much, because sometimes it's the view. Sometimes they'll say it's like, oh, they love playing golf and this is really close to this really fancy golf club. Good to know, because the buyer is probably going to be the same. Or let me find people and tell them that this house is very close to this golf club, because we'll get the golf players. So I love that question, taking that angle. That agent was very smart to use the seller as the marketing story for that home. A plus.
I think we need to stop talking about bed bath count. It's in the listing. It's listed,
Yeah.
in one of the fields, right? It's kind of like, hey, if someone says, Mark, tell me about yourself, am I going to say, I'm 5'11, I'm 190 pounds? I mean, right? It's like,
Exactly.
no,
It's
they
not
want to
interesting at
know the
all.
story.
Yeah. 100%. I had another agent, and he shared this story with me. They were selling this house. Again, no clicks, no views, no showings. And he I think got frustrated, and he's like, you know what? The best thing about this house is the view. The house itself really isn't that great. It's the view. I can't remember what market this was, but he told me, he's like, you know what I did? I took every single photograph out and I just left the shots of the view. And he's like, I sold the house. House sold. As soon as I took all the distractions away and just showed them, because it really did have the most spectacular view.
Felipe, what do you think about? I was on a luxury listing call not too long ago, and they were saying how they had a home wedding there. And I said, "Oh my gosh, do you have any pictures? Like, what do you think about inserting a picture, without faces or people, but like the tent or whatever, or where the band was, just to show the potential of the grounds and the property of how you can entertain, whether it be a wedding or a huge party." I just, my mind was going like, "Oh, that'd be so cool to have that picture in there too without people."
I love it. I worked with Ralph Lauren for so many years, and they were sometimes they look like beautiful real estate ads. Those campaigns, in Nantucket with the family at the barbecue. And I've done a lot of photo shoots with agents, and we've recreated that. Because Katie, again, anything you can do to show the house come to life and to show people, right? Because there will be people that will be like, oh, we love entertaining, or oh my God, our daughter's getting married, or something, right? Show them something. When you just show them, sometimes I complain. Somebody was posting a question about the photography. I was like, sometimes these photo shoots look like a furniture catalog, right? I was like, you're selling me the furniture more than the house, really, and I don't really care. I'm not looking for a sofa. I'm looking for like the right house for me and my family. So I think any moments that you can show that, if this is a family home and it's in a good school district, I was like, show kids, show that this is a house where kids running in the backyard and dog friendly, something, right? Your point about the car. Hey, is this like a car garage? Yeah, show the cars, then bring the Porsche and show me the car garage, because someone's going to be like, oh, damn, great. I finally have a house where I can get my babies in there. So I do love the idea of, again, being purposeful and showing this house come to life. Is it perfect for entertainment? Is it that perfect view for like romantic moments? So not overdoing it, but like you said, just I do love the idea of giving those highlights. Again, I think we're all so used to these things and seeing people what they're doing in their homes. So use that to your advantage, because I I think with anything, right? I think with your ad, with your pitch presentation, my goal with my agents is always that they're seeing a lot of Instagram ads, they're meeting with a lot of agents. When you leave or when they pass by your ad, are they going to remember something unique, cute, funny, interesting about it, right? And if that wedding photo, Katie, can be that thing, that's great, right? If they're flipping through and being like, oh, this is a beautiful garden, this is beautiful. Oh, look at this beautiful wedding. Oh, that's great. Oh my God, yeah, we're planning a wedding. That's it, that you win, right? That's all you needed to do. So I think if it's relevant to the house, 100%.
Or they're thinking they can save money on the wedding by buying the house, and it's
Yeah.
really just an investment in the wedding.
We were
girl.
doing this house in Southern California, and it came out of a conversation with the owner, right? And we'd done the video of the house, right? But just of the house and some furniture, neighborhood shots. But in talking to the owner, we asked that question. It's like, what's your favorite thing? And the husband said, actually, you know what? My favorite thing is they had kids. It's like there's this really cute path along the side of the house that goes down 2 blocks to the beach. And so you really don't know about it. It's just like there's no cars, it's not even a sidewalk. And I love when I take my kids and I go down this path. And we were like, okay, video camera, let's. And,
Or,
and we went and showed, because we wouldn't have known. And we
right.
added that. We added, and I think it meant so much to be like, okay, I love the house. Oh, look how cute. The dad walking. Oh my God, I didn't realize it was that close to the beach. And that came out of that conversation by asking him, because I thought he was going to say, I love the open, kitchen, or I love, the view. And he was like, no, I love this little walk that I can do with my kids every day.
It's all about asking the right questions, just like in all this AI and chat. It's about prompting. What are the right prompts to ask your client about the home where these gems come out that you don't even know?
Yeah.
And tell those stories. Perfect.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are really at our time limit here, but we do have what we call rapid six. At six, do you mind if we just spend a couple minutes just shooting through some quick questions here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So first of all, it's hot out. What's your favorite ice cream?
Okay, I mix pistachio and coconut.
Oh,
Got
that's
it.
a good one.
It's my
I love
favorite.
pistachio ice cream. Okay, so this one really just pertains to you because we go through these questions with every guest that we have. But if you could only wear one brand for the rest of your life, which brand are you wearing?
Right now, I'm torn. Probably Zara right now. I'm obsessed. It's so good.
Love
Really
it.
good value, good design, very wearable. Yeah, love it.
Not really expensive. Also,
No, exactly. And it's good quality. I tell you, I have some Zara things. I bought a pair of sneakers at Zara. I have spent years buying $200 pair of Nikes. I bought these sneakers at Zara a year ago. I go to the gym every day. These things are still new. I get stopped by so many people asking me like how cute my sneakers are. Never, I was like $49. Love it.
fantastic. Now we are all going to be stalked on Instagram and social media
We
by Zara.
are. Yeah.
If you were not working in the luxury department at Compass, what would be your dream job to do?
So I'm gonna cheat a little. I took a break from luxury before coming to Compass, and I worked at Tom's, the shoe company, where we gave a pair of shoes, and I was their creative director for 5 years. And if I stopped working in luxury, I would like to go back to something with a more of a philanthropic angle because it was still fashion. We were still selling. It was still a business, a for-profit business. But I just loved what Tom started of being like, you can be a profitable business. You can sell and do marketing and still help people at the same time, right? So whether it's Tom's or somewhere else, I just love that perspective and that business model.
That's great. If you, oh wait, no, what is your favorite book or movie that you've read or watched that has had some sort of an impact on your life?
uh, so oh God, it's such a nerd. I'm a sci-fi geek. So Dune is my favorite, but it's my favorite movie, but my father read all the Dune books and then my brothers read them, and then it was like a rite of passage, and there's like 35 of them. It's like this is
Yes.
not one book, and I have read all of them twice.
Oh my gosh.
Um, my father took me to the premiere in London of the first Dune movie in the 80s. So whenever I'm bored, it's raining outside, I put on the old Dune movie and I just feel like a little kid.
So you
So
like the original? The original is your,
the original movie, yeah, with Kyle MacLachlan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you geeked
And
out
the new
about
ones.
Dune? Have you geeked out about Dune with Robert?
Yes, yes, yes.
He
Yes.
loves Dune.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, there's a whole fan. Yeah, there's that it's a cult. But the books are amazing. And like and again, I think it was like that my dad and my brother they would read them, pass them down to me. It was like a little bonding thing we had.
That's great. What is one piece of advice that somebody has given you that you still refer to this day?
Um, my mentor to this day is still my old boss at Ralph Lauren. She's head of brand at Ralph Lauren. And I'm like this with my team. She was very structured and always said, hey, listen, everyone's always coming to me with all these ideas. What are the top three? Do the top three. Stop with everything else. She's like, I don't want a list of 15 things. Nothing gets done. You're all scattered. You can get to the other ones. Finish those three things first. So I do this a lot with myself, with my team, with agents. I want to do all these things. Sure, we're going to start with three. You want to fix your newsletter? Okay, your social media and something else. Maybe even just two. Start there. We overcomplicate things, and she taught me how to always have that reminder of like after every meeting or after every project we lay out, is this as simple as it could be? And if it isn't, simplify it or you won't get it done.
That is great advice. I know many of us have a to-do list every day that's 25 to 100 things long, right? But if we really look at that list and we pick the top three, it's a successful day if you get through that time.
Tanya, how many times have you been in a meeting where someone is obsessing about something? Maybe your client, maybe someone on your team, maybe you yourself are obsessing about something. Sure, stop. Go to your list. I tell you, this happens to me all the time. And I realize that I'm obsessing about number 14 on my list.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop obsessing about this because it's 14 on my to-do list. I have like 13 other things I should be obsessing about, and I picked number 14. So it's always just a very good reminder to snap out of something and go back to the important stuff.
I love that. That is huge. Yeah, definitely. And it's always drinking from a fire hose, especially here at Compass, right?
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
it's
We're the
easy
worst.
to
The worst
get to
at it.
25 and think, ah,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, thank you.